Hey guys, I'm back with 5 myths, okay, that are completely wrong. Let's go through them. Number 1, all that fat will give you a heart attack. Have you ever heard that before? Absolutely not true. Fat is only bad if you add the carbohydrates, okay, like in, ice cream, for example. And if you add sugar or carbs with protein, I'm not talking about vegetables and protein, I'm talking about sugar and protein. That's bad because that combination creates what's called glycation. And you develop sticky blood and all sorts of protein end products that are very damaging to the tissue. So it's not bad for the heart because you're lowering your carbohydrate. And at my next Keto Summit, hopefully you can attend, we have 2 cardiologists that have been in practice quite a while, and they're going to be speaking on this very topic. So you might want to come to that. All right, number 2, low carbohydrate diets can starve the brain, right? Because our brain needs carbohydrates or glucose. It is true that the brain runs on glucose, but it can also run on ketones, okay, which is the byproduct of fat. When you have neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, those neurons are completely deprived of glucose, and that's why they're dying. But that's coming from insulin resistance. What causes insulin resistance? Chronic consumption of carbohydrates, chronic elevation of insulin. And what happens is you start to block the availability of insulin and starve the fuel for those neurons. When you bypass the whole glucose thing and run your body on ketones, your neurons thrive. And when you add intermittent fasting, which I always recommend, you will get neurogenesis, the regrowing of brain cells. Your brain grows back. So low carb diets do not starve the brain, they feed the brain. High carbohydrate diets starve the brain. That's the truth. Take a look at any diabetic who's on high carbohydrates, right? They usually are very high risk for all sorts of neurological problems and neurodegeneration in the brain. Number 3, high protein diets can cause bad breath, and we'll just add in their constipation, right? Have you ever heard that before? Well, first of all, a ketogenic diet is not a high protein diet, okay? It's a moderate protein diet. And that protein in the ketogenic diet is very necessary because when you go low protein, there's all sorts of complications, including a loss of muscle protein, a lack of raw material for repair and neurotransmitter production. So it's not the protein that causes the bad breath, the constipation, it's the excessive carbohydrates, okay? But again, the ketogenic diet is not high protein, it's moderate protein. Number 4, ketoacidosis is a dangerous side effect. It is a dangerous side effect of diabetic type 1 and sometimes a diabetic type 2 who's on insulin. But if you're doing nutritional ketosis, you are actually bringing the person away from diabetes type 2. You're preventing that. You're improving that. You're not going to get ketoacidosis by doing ketosis. This is pathological, and the other is very therapeutic, especially to even cancer cells. All right, number 5. Eating butter and bacon fat is not sustainable long-term. Well, actually, a lot of people are going to say it is sustainable long-term because if you're adding more fat, you're going to stick to it longer because you're satisfied. But you're on a ketogenic diet, you're not just eating pure lard and fat and bacon grease. You're eating the whole food and you're eating the fat with it. Some people in the beginning add more fat so they can go from one meal to the next when they do intermittent fasting. But it's not just a high-fat diet. It's a low-carbohydrate diet, which just so happens to have healthy fats in there, and they're very, very healthy. And we're also talking about healthy butter, like from grass-fed cows. And we're talking about organic bacon. You don't have to do bacon. I mean, what's really not sustainable and very unhealthy is all the vegetable oils like the corn oil and the soy oil that people are pushing on you. It's in all the dressings. It's in a lot of your food. In fact, 25% of the food that you eat in the grocery store is made from corn oil, high fructose corn syrup, and definitely if we add in their soy, it's probably another 20%. A tremendous amount of food is soy and corn, especially in those oils. And that is very unhealthy long-term because it's GMO, it has glyphosate residue, and it's also badly processed. So these saturated fats have been around for a very long time, and they are really not the bad guy. All right, guys, thanks for watching. So if you're enjoying this content, go ahead and share it with someone that could really benefit from it.